Okay, so today I'm taking a look at Shinsekai Into the Depths on the Nintendo Switch. This Metroidvania, it's trying something new, it's bringing a unique idea to the player for sure, by setting its 2D platforming in an underwater world full of exploration and danger. The big question I'm asking though is it a genius concept or simply more of a gimmick? Well, hit that subscribe button if you love the Switch as much as we do, join our growing family, and let's get this started. So Shinsekai Into the Depths tackles the idea of a dire future for mankind, one where ice has taken over the world we know. The land we once lived upon, abandoned as we retreated into the ocean. It's kind of like a reverse Little Mermaid, and that to me should be the tagline on the eShop. Anyways, with time passing, the situation, yeah, it's only getting worse because that ice, it's now making its way down into the depths of the ocean, and it's about to mark a very bad day for us. It's where the game kicks off, as your underwater home, shall we say, it gets destroyed by very quick moving ice shards. And so begins our journey as what appears to be the lone survivor of whatever this underwater civilization once was. Then alongside you, you will have a droid who accompanies you, and you'll meet them early in the game. So at this point you can have a ton of questions. What happened to the world above the ocean? Is there anyone else alive? What secrets are below? That's all there for you to find out, because this one, its presentation is what I would call minimalistic for its story, relying on the player's curiosity rather than spoon feeding you, a storyline. No fancy cutscenes or, long scenes of dialogue. What we basically get here is very occasional in-game cutscene. It's basically normally you interacting with something, zero dialogue. There's imagery that needs to be translated from terminals with zero explanation. So I think looking at like cave paintings and trying to work them out. And then of course there's clues in the environment itself, signs of whatever happened to this place, but also the land above the ocean. It can be as deep or as shallow as you want it to be, but for me it absolutely hooked me. I was looking around every moment for that next clue, that next small detail. Building the picture, it's, as I say, down to you. The interpretation, that's your choice. When you discuss this with friends, you may take something in a very different way, spot something unique. That's exciting, being able to talk about a game and share an idea, share an opinion, and maybe walk away with two very differing points of view. Overall, this roughly 8-hour experience is a fantastic piece of design, leaving the player very much in control of the outcome. It can, I will say, drag a little towards the end, but that's a very minor complaint. So this one is a 2D platformer channeling that Metroidvania style. One huge map, tons of exploration to do, the occasional puzzle, and of course tons of obstacles in our way, stopping us from progressing. Because what would you expect? Now, shortly into the experience, also I will say throw in some save points and the fast travel ability. It's going to save you from some of those extremely long journeys you'll be making in the early game here. Now, I want to address this early on as well. While the underwater theme simply could have been a gimmick, I gotta say it's what makes the game so unique. It's not just, left, right and jump, but this water opens up a huge amount of vertical exploration in game. This is thanks to a jetpack ability, and it uses your oxygen tanks. So yeah, you need to not just be thinking of what's going to be on the left and right hand side of you, but what is all around you, what secrets could you discover out there. And this then leads into my best description of this game, honestly. It's exploration with a side of combat. Exploration is just that, search the world looking for answers, whether that means, discovering relics, finding secret locations, unblocking that next pathway, mining the walls for resources that you'll use on upgrades. Maybe you'll just be solving a puzzle. With a huge map though, I will say there's a ton here to take in, there's a ton here to discover, a ton here to do. But on the back of that as well, let's say there's also quite a bit of backtracking in here as well. When you come up to a blocked path or you simply find a dead end, you need to go into an experience like this expecting it. Abilities wise though, this game escalates pretty quickly. You start on foot, then you quickly master the jetpack ability, then you'll find a submarine to make things a whole lot faster, then you'll realise you can climb the walls or hang from the ceiling. How about that magic torch you have that actually uncovers secrets in the walls? Maybe you'll mine for resources so you can upgrade all of your equipment. The best way I can describe you with all of these skills, honestly, it's like you're an underwater James Bond. Now, the reason I did say earlier exploration with a side of combat though is I'd say exploration makes up 80% of the experience here. That's the heavy focus, and it's worth knowing that if you know more of a somber pacing is not your thing. This isn't the challenging, constantly dying Metroidvania gameplay you may be used to. It's more about the experience and piecing a mystery together, even though I will say it knows when to pile the tension on, and it does so frequently as you progress. With that, let's talk combat, and it's very much the weaker piece of this package, and I'm putting that out there immediately. It also makes up for what I would say is a very small piece of the gameplay on offer here, resulting in nothing more than basically spamming that attack button as you aim your gun or use a trusty melee weapon. It's not that it's bad, as I say, it's just there's no depth to it. Your relatively slow speed in comparison to your enemies, coupled with having absolutely no ability to block, means it's basically a competition of who can hit the other one the hardest and first. It's not smart, but it gets the job done. The game though will start by introducing your warrior ways with a basic melee attack, but will quickly be feeding you a steady supply of weaponry from harpoons to electrified lines. They provide for some entertaining moments, I will say, but it's rarely, let's say, essential. To be honest, you can absolutely treat this as a survival experience and avoid nearly every confrontation entirely. That is, I gotta put this out there, apart from excellent boss moments, these absolutely force, but they actually do demand a little bit of skill, driving you to recognize the patterns they're going to use in their attack run and then react accordingly. I had some great times with these boss moments, and they are absolutely huge. Now, as the last point on the combat, the weaponry, what I appreciated the most, in fact, about it all was it's not even its core functionality, but that everything here has a dual purpose. Melee can be used to unblock pathways by hitting certain items trapped within the ice, but then the guns, they'll be frequently used to solve puzzles. It demands you to experiment with your arsenal, even if you don't really want to get suckered up into the actual combat itself. So gameplay wise, that's about it. The game relies on menus for pretty much everything else outside of your health bar, and that's living at the top of the screen as always. Here it's based on an oxygen tank, and you can see these as almost shields. You'll start with just one tank, but you'll quickly find plenty within the world to get this up to, like, let's say 6 or 7 bars, shall we? Just, I will say, be careful not to take damage in combat or from big falls. Take damage and you might start to lose them very quickly as cracks appear, and you'll need to go on that hunt again to try and find replacements. Now, regenerating your health, that's a simple case of reaching a save point or looking for oxygen bubbles in the world to give you that boost. This could have easily been annoying, honestly, if they'd made it drain a little bit too quickly, but thankfully I rarely ever saw my tanks here get low. Just know that the jetpack ability and your lungs share that same oxygen, so be smart between choosing oxygen and simply being an underwater Superman. Menus, and I will say expect a map that will of course uncover more secrets as you go deeper, and it also kindly actually displays where you've been already, and then the all-important upgrade system. It's where the resources you mine come into play, upgrading your suit and your abilities, from let's say how much you can carry to the power of your weapons. This is absolutely necessary to progress in this game. You'll see here on the screen the water below me is actually red right now. That means my suit is not yet capable of handling the pressure that is present at this water level. It's where a small amount of grind will come into play, so you can find those necessary resources to get that suit up to scratch. So graphically, it's a beautiful looking game. Simply put, this underwater world, it combines the unknown, almost futuristic, with just the occasional hint of society we would all recognize, just like household goods that seem to be depressingly abandoned on the ocean floor. Where Shinsekai most impressively succeeds though visually is its scale. It's so apparent from the world around you that you are literally a small fish in a big pond. It makes you constantly question what's above you and what's below you, and that makes the gameplay so addictive. Normally when you fall down a hole, you go to an instant death. Here you can actually explore that, and it's such a unique feeling, and fortunately the game does a very good job visually of just making slight tweaks to give you just one more reason to go and explore even more. Details then around you just build upon adding to the story, the background, what happened to this civilization, from underwater structures of what appears to be a civilization gone, to the remains of above ocean life just lying on the floor, to futuristic pieces that will leave you questioning what the hell is going on here. It all has a purpose, and it takes something that's graphically stunning, but gives it a whole other level of importance to the player. Then the character design, just incredible animation on your main hero as you stumble your way across the ocean floor, get in your submarine, watch as an electric eel wraps around you and, well yeah, screws you over, or watch as you use the jetpack. The animation work here is just extremely impressive, and it's some of the best 2D animation I've seen in a long time. So problems, yeah, the water effects are okay but not perfect. I will say they absolutely achieve what they need to, and at moments they even look amazing, but also at times it looks simply like a slightly blue filter over the screen. Granted though, it's extremely hard to do water effects, everybody knows that. Then the environments towards the end game, they can get a little bit repetitive, and I feel like maybe wrapping things up for this game just a little bit quicker would have been a good idea. It would have helped with story, it would have also helped with the visuals as well. And then last issue, enemy design. Yeah, there's not much you can do with, a jellyfish, but it all gets a little bit repetitive, and that's pretty early in the game, to be honest. There's heavy reuse here of the same character assets. Overall though, look, it's a beautiful game. I'm being extremely picky with these problems, honestly. I had a fantastic time looking into this world, and it was so refreshing to have an experience where pieces on the screen actually meant more than just being there to make it kind of look good. So audio, masterpiece. Simple. Not only do we get a stunning soundtrack, it's just topped off with sound effects that are rarely matched. Live recorded on location, ice cracks, the water, it carries the weight and that claustrophobic effect on the senses. Opening this game, it actually suggests headphones for this experience, and I could not agree more. The immersion here was absolutely stunning. Hearing that water around you was such a weirdly peaceful moment, but also tense. This approach, it really does honestly pay off. This level of realism, it's insane. They've just been smart with how they're using the sound here, like I said, both to comfort, but also in that rare moment to terrify you. Then the music, a masterpiece of a soundtrack. I hope they release it to buy. It's one I would add to my collection immediately, and it's got everything from those somber moments to the high energy we'd expect during a boss fight. Overall, Shin Sakai aimed to bring something familiar to the Switch with its own unique twist on the whole thing. And I gotta say, they succeeded. What I feared may largely be a gimmick feature of a jetpack-like experience, underwater, delivers on being an absolutely integral part of the gameplay, where you have the ability now to just go everywhere and anywhere, and that freedom is so refreshing. It just taps into your instinct for curiosity and exploration. Pair this together then with some unique bosses, an incredible soundtrack, a story that lets you find the meaning and interpret the mystery yourself, and then the sound effects. Stick those headphones on, just call me impressed. Problems, sure, the combat's pretty much 100% forgettable. Enemy designs are repetitive, and the story and some of the environments a little drawn out towards the end, where I think they probably could have just scrapped a couple of sections and tightened things up a little bit. Overall though, I have no problem at this price point. At $19.99 in the US, £15.99 in the UK, or €19.99, I've got to say it's absolutely worth the price of entry. If you want something a little bit more unique, where instead of focusing on heavy death runs and heavy combat, they've moved towards more of an exploration play. Today, I'm awarding Shin Sakai Into the Ocean a great 8 out of 10. So is this one you'll be picking up? Have you picked it up already? If so, what did you think? Hit that subscribe button if you love the Switch as much as we do. Join our growing family. Like the video if we helped you out, and we'll see you all on the next video.